In a world where capitalism and socialism are in constant competition, it's time to ask the ultimate question: who will ultimately prevail, and what is the future of the world? It is a question that has been asked for centuries and one that still remains unanswered. The direction the world takes is determined by the ideologies that shape it. Capitalism and socialism have been two of the world's most influential and conflicting ideologies. Capitalism is an economic system based on private ownership of the means of production, while socialism is an economic system based on social and economic equality. These two ideologies have been at odds with each other for centuries, and their struggle intensifies as the world continues to change and evolve. The debate between capitalism and socialism has been around since the dawn of the modern era. It is a debate that has been waged between two powerful and diametrically opposed ideologies. On the one hand, capitalism is based on the idea of private ownership and the pursuit of individual profit. It is a system that has been responsible for the development of many of the world's most advanced economies and societies. On the other hand, socialism is based on the idea of collective ownership and the pursuit of social and economic equality. It is a system that has been responsible for the development of some of the world's most progressive social and economic policies. Unsurprisingly, the debate between capitalism and socialism is more intense than ever. The world's future will be determined by which of the two ideologies will emerge victorious in this battle of ideologies. Are you curious about what the future holds for capitalism and socialism? In this video, we'll explore the clash of ideologies, their origins, and the potential outcomes for these two powerful economic systems. So stay tuned and subscribe for more. Since the beginning of time, humans have sought to make sense of the world around them. Throughout history, various ideologies have been developed to explain the economic and social systems in place. Capitalism and socialism are two of the most prominent ideologies, each with its own set of core beliefs and principles. Capitalism has its roots in the economic system of mercantilism that was popular in Europe during the 16th and 17th centuries. The core belief of capitalism is that the free market should regulate itself with the least amount of government interference. This means that the marketplace should determine the supply and demand of goods and services, with businesses competing to provide the best product at the lowest price. Socialism, on the other hand, is an ideology that emphasizes collective ownership and the redistribution of wealth. It was founded on the principles of Karl Marx, who argued for a more equitable system where the working class could benefit from the wealth of the upper classes. Socialism is based on the idea that everyone should have access to the same basic rights and opportunities, and that the government should provide these services. The two ideologies have been in constant battle since the 19th century and continue to be the subject of much debate in modern society. Capitalism is often seen as more conducive to economic growth, while socialism is seen as more equitable. They both have advantages and disadvantages, and the debate is ongoing. The debate between capitalism and socialism has been raging for centuries, and the two ideologies have profoundly impacted how we think about the economy and society. While the two ideologies differ, they aim to create a better world. The debate between them is an important part of understanding the history of economic and social thought, and will likely continue to be an important part of our future. The fight between capitalism and socialism has been ongoing for centuries, and today it is more relevant than ever. In today's world, capitalism and socialism are competing ideologies. Capitalism has been embraced by many nations around the world, including the United States, as a way to promote economic growth and individual prosperity. Socialism, on the other hand, has been gaining traction in some parts of the world, particularly in countries with limited resources and a large population of impoverished people. The debate between capitalism and socialism is complex and heated. Proponents of capitalism argue that it is the most efficient way to generate wealth, as it encourages competition and innovation. Supporters of socialism, however, argue that capitalism perpetuates inequality and leads to an unfair concentration of wealth and power. The truth is that both capitalism and socialism have their advantages and disadvantages. Capitalism has made it possible for many countries to become world economic powers, while socialism has helped to reduce poverty and provide basic social services to people in need. Ultimately, the best solution may be to find a balance between the two systems, as many countries have tried to do. Some may prefer the freedom and opportunity of capitalism, while others may prefer the security and protection of socialism. No matter what, the debate between capitalism and socialism will continue for as long as people debate economic systems. As capitalism and socialism face off in an epic showdown of ideologies, where will the future take us? Find out now by watching this video, and get ready to subscribe for more. The ideological differences between capitalism and socialism have been at the forefront of the public consciousness since the early 20th century. Capitalism is often associated with free market principles, while socialism is associated with government control and regulation of the economy. The debate between these two systems has become even more heated in recent years as the global economic crisis has highlighted their differences. Capitalism has been the dominant ideology in the Western world since the Industrial Revolution, and it has proven to be an effective system for encouraging economic growth and development. However, the recent economic downturn has exposed some of the flaws of capitalism, such as inequality and exploitation of workers. Supporters of capitalism argue that it allows for the free market to determine prices and wages, while opponents argue that it leads to exploitation and inequality. Socialism, on the other hand, is an ideology that seeks to reduce inequality and empower workers by collectively owning and managing the means of production. While socialism is often criticized for its lack of economic efficiency, proponents argue that it provides greater social and economic justice. Supporters of socialism argue that it can reduce inequality, while opponents argue that it encourages inefficiency and stifles economic growth. The debate between capitalism and socialism has become increasingly heated in recent years. In 2020, the United States experienced a historic presidential election between Donald Trump, a capitalist, and Joe Biden, a socialist. The election was seen as a representation of the ideological conflict between capitalism and socialism. Similarly, protests over inequality and police brutality have highlighted the differences between these two systems. The debate between capitalism and socialism is an old battle, but it is one that is being fought in the future. As the global economy evolves, the ideological differences between these two systems will continue to be tested and debated. It is up to us to determine which system will be the best for our future. The future of capitalism and socialism has been a hotly contested debate for centuries. Both ideologies have been at odds, vying for power and control of society. Capitalism has been the dominant force in the world, with many of its most powerful countries adhering to its principles. Socialism, on the other hand, has been gaining traction in recent years, with some countries like Venezuela and Bolivia having adopted socialist policies. The battle between capitalism and socialism will likely continue in the future, and each ideology has its own strengths and weaknesses. Capitalism is seen as more efficient at generating wealth and spurring economic growth. It relies on free markets and business competition to allocate resources efficiently. Socialism, however, is more focused on equality and fairness for all, and seeks to provide basic necessities like healthcare and education to all citizens. The changing economic and political environment will likely determine the outcome of this ideological battle. For instance, the current economic downturn caused by the pandemic has increased the number of people advocating for socialism in many countries. Similarly, the rising inequality between the rich and poor has caused many to question the merits of capitalism. The future of capitalism and socialism is uncertain. However, what is certain is that both ideologies will remain influential forces worldwide. How they interact with each other and which ideology will emerge as the dominant force will depend on the actions of governments, businesses, and citizens in the coming years. Ultimately, the future of capitalism and socialism will be determined by the people. The future of capitalism and socialism is in our hands. It's time to decide which ideology will win out and shape our future. So join the debate and see what the future holds. Share and subscribe to this YouTube channel to stay informed and be part of the conversation.